Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This season, season 9, we are talking about the brand that is you. And today I want to talk about being your own perfect client. What do I mean by that? Well, I want to start with an exercise. The first thing I would like you to do is just to spend a second with me and think about things that potential clients or clients do that drive you crazy. What are their behaviors or the activities or the things that they do that just drive you nuts when they do it? I just want to give you a second to let some things come to mind because I know you've got some, and then I'm going to prompt some ideas. Just think in the last month or so, has a client done something where you're like, I hate when they do that, or potential clients? Now, obviously, we have a big list of potential activities here. So potential clients, what do? Well, they no-show for their sales calls. They haggle. They ask for guarantees. They have all kinds of objections, some of which are kind of crazy and unreasonable. They get an offer from you and then they don't make a decision, but then they ghost you for a while. If you're going into large corporate offices, one of my least favorite things that big companies will do is have pass you from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. And you're like, is this thing ever going to turn into business? Because it just seems like a lot of people need to vet me and meet me. So those are crazy making behaviors. And once you have someone who's a client, then what are the things that drive you nuts? Well, again, they can ghost you. They can disappear for a while. They can miss calls, all kinds of money weirdness like missing payments, late with payments, showing up for calls unprepared, not doing their homework, and then one of my favorites is not implementing. I did this exercise years ago, and one of the things that stood out for me was I was driven crazy because my clients wouldn't implement. And then I thought about myself and the coaching programs that I was in, and I thought, well, how come you're not implementing? And I was like, well, sometimes I do, but sometimes I get bogged down with the work. I actually get client work that keeps me from doing my other implementation of my programs. I get confused. I start to have limiting beliefs, like I'm worried about the future, or I don't know if this is going to work for me, or all kinds of stuff like that. So it gave me a little more compassion for why people don't implement, and it helped me to be a better coach when working with my clients on things that were hard to implement. However, it also made me say, no. When you're in a program, you have to implement. There are things that are critical, and it's part of the agreement between you and whoever you're working with. So when we look at these behaviors that drive us crazy, we cannot, in integrity, call somebody out for it unless we are completely aligned, meaning we're not doing any of the annoying or crazy making behaviors. So I want you to take a moment to think, is there any of this stuff that you're doing? When somebody's reaching out to you, are you ghosting them? Are you taking a long time with decisions? Do you not do your homework in between meetings? Now, these are in relationships where maybe you have a coach or a consultant that you're working with, or any other working relationship. I felt pretty good about myself for a while when I was doing this exercise because I was like, no, I never ask for refunds. And honestly, I can't stand when people ask for refunds, but I just never do it because it's just out of integrity. Like, life is full of risks. Deal with it. Doesn't mean that I let people rip me off. There's a big line between like, I made a decision about something I'm not happy about how it ended up going, but the person was honorable versus like, this is a scam artist. And of course you want your money back, right? But I don't ask for free stuff. I show up for things. I rarely ghost. I only ghost if I've got a lot of unsolicited spam in my inbox, but I usually don't ghost actual people I'm in any kind of working relationship with. So I felt really, really good about a lot of things until we hit the implementation thing. And that was an area that I was able to get my act together around. Now, I'll tell you why this came into my interest recently was because I had someone that I referred to, another colleague of mine. So person A, I referred to person B. And it turns out that person A was like not paying on time, was kind of haggling over things, was searching around, seeing if she could get things cheaper from somewhere else. And just in general, not being a good client. So person B was telling me these things, and I was like, well, that's not okay, and don't tolerate that just because I referred her. I don't want you to be accepting unacceptable behavior just because it's a colleague of mine. So then I went to the original person, to person A, and I said, hey, seems like you've been doing these behaviors. And if you and I agree, we know that we really always like to work with perfect clients. And right now you're not being one. Like you're being kind of a terrible client. So that was an enlightening moment for person A, who may or may not have chosen to take that information in. And it just made me think, like, where in our lives are we doing that? And how important it is to me to be a perfect client for anyone for whom I'm a client of. So when I work with contractors around the house, and when I work with, the people who help me in my business, I mean, obviously my whole team, but I always pay them on their terms. I try to get my work done and to them on time. And I don't always succeed. So a good example of this is my website designer, who, if you know website design, it's a process, a rebranding of a website, which I did recently, is a process that involves 10 million decisions and lots of new writing and all kinds of stuff. And my poor website designer was very patient with me. Her name is Katya Walton. I highly recommend her. She's amazing. I'll put a link to her stuff in the show notes. And I think my site came out just spectacularly beautiful. And I know that at times, I'm sure I was like the client who was indecisive and took too long to get back to her and could not get the materials and had to write the copy, which took forever, but the whole time I was in awareness of the behavior that I was doing and was really actually trying not to be terrible. So I think it's really critical to look at all the relationships that you're in. So especially in your coaching relationships, or consulting relationships, like, be the client that you want to have. If you see your clients who are exhibiting these behaviors that you're talking about, that we reviewed in the beginning, in the opening, if they are exhibiting those kinds of behaviors, think about, am I doing that? Or am I allowing or tolerating that? Remember, I don't get asked for free things. People don't call me to pick my brain because I don't allow or tolerate that. So don't allow it or tolerate it. Empower yourself to shut that down energetically before it ever gets into your inbox. And with no matter who you're working with, see if you can be a perfect client. Now, in my world, a lot of people know what I do. And so contractors and virtual assistants and other people that I work with, they know the perfect client profile exercise that we have done together. And so what's nice is I've had my people who work with me tell me, you're the perfect client model that I use when I'm doing this exercise. So for example, my hairstylist, she joined a program for growing your hairstyle business and said to me, or growing your salon, I guess it's a hair salon. And she said, you're the person that I modeled my perfect client from. And I was like, yay, I love this because it is important to me to be that person. Your business and your experience with your clients and the people who work with you will transform when you are committed to being a perfect client. Like, I don't want anybody on my team to be like, oh my God, Samantha's driving me nuts because. So think about the behaviors that you want to exhibit and you want to see in your perfect clients. And honestly, the more you intend that and the more you are intentional about your own behaviors, the more you are going to see perfect clients. It was hard for me in this, in preparing for this episode, to think of somebody of my clients who has done anything, annoying in months, maybe years. Like, I really have to dig through my files to remember, like, oh yeah, so-and-so used to do that thing that drove me crazy. So-and-so used to be unprepared for calls. Yeah, that's funny. She's not like that anymore. So if you have these things going on, you can change them, right? You are empowered to change them. So just decide and exhibit the behaviors in yourself that you want to see in your clients. With that, I am wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business. Thanks for watching. I'd appreciate if you'd like this episode, and if you enjoyed the show, why not subscribe? Be sure to click the bell to get notified when new episodes drop.